Have you ever been there? In a relationship where you're trying so hard to help someone, but it feels less like you're throwing them a lifeline and more like you're being pulled under yourself. You're giving everything you've got, but it's just leaving you completely exhausted. Let's get into this, because it's a dynamic that's way more common than we talk about.
Wow. I mean, that just cuts right to the bone, doesn't it? If that feeling hits home for you, just know you are not alone. It's that deep, soul-crushing exhaustion that comes from pouring your heart and soul into someone else, only to feel like you're literally disappearing in the process.
And that's the real paradox, isn't it? You love this person. Of course you do. You want to be there for them, whether they're dealing with burnout or ADHD or something else entirely. But somehow, you've become the person who absorbs all their frustration, all their stress, and it is taking a huge toll.
So what does this actually look like day to day? Well, let's just call it what it is. It's a draining connection. Look, this isn't about them having a bad day here and there. Everybody has those. This is when that bad day turns into the new normal. It becomes a repeating pattern, a cycle that just sucks the life right out of you, leaving you totally depleted.
So, how in the world does a relationship get like this? Let's unpack the pattern. Because if you can understand the why behind it, that's the first real step toward actually changing things.
Okay, so take a look at this, because this really breaks down the roles we can fall into. When one partner slides into what you might call a mother role, they're dominant, controlling, maybe they blame everyone else when things go wrong, it almost automatically forces the other person, maybe you, into a submissive role. You start getting defensive, you accept blame, you're just trying to keep the peace. But it's not a partnership anymore, right? It's a serious power imbalance, and it will drain you dry.
And this is so important to get. Yes, their burnout is real. Their ADHD is a valid struggle. You can have a universe of understanding for what they're going through. But, and this is a big but, that does not make you their emotional punching bag. Their condition might explain their feelings, but it never excuses their actions. At the end of the day, they're still responsible for how they treat you.
This all leads us to a really tricky spot, a trap that so many of us fall into. And that's the blurry line between supporting someone you love and accidentally taking over their entire emotional load. And then, that's when the question bubbles up, right? You start thinking, wait a minute, is it me? Is this my fault? Am I just too nice?
Okay, let's reframe that whole idea. Being too nice isn't a flaw in your personality, it's a pattern of behavior. It's what happens when you structurally, repeatedly ignore your own needs and your own boundaries just to keep the peace or to make someone else happy. It's a survival tactic, and the price is your own well-being. And this just lays it out so clearly. Healthy support is about helping them while also protecting your own energy. You maintain your boundaries. But a draining takeover, that's when you're trying to save them. You give and give until there is nothing left, and you sacrifice your own peace of mind. One is sustainable. The other is a one-way ticket to burnout.
All right, we've taken a hard look at the problem. Now, let's get to the most important part, the power shift. This is where you actually start to get your energy and yourself back.
You know that feeling deep in your gut, the one that screams, "This is just not fair"? Do not ignore that feeling. That is not you being weak or overly dramatic. That is your internal alarm system going off at full blast, telling you that a major boundary has been crossed. It's time to listen.
But here's the classic trap. We wait. We wait for them to have a sudden realization, to finally see how much they're hurting us, and to validate our feelings. We think their validation is the key that will finally make us feel better.
But when you wait for them, you're literally taking the key to your own peace of mind and just handing it over to them. You're making your well-being totally dependent on someone who, let's be honest, is probably not in a place to give you what you need. It just locks you into that cycle of exhaustion.
So here it is. This is the game changer. You have to anchor that feeling of justice inside yourself. You have to be the one to say, my feelings are valid. You have to decide for yourself, I see this situation clearly, and I don't need their permission to know that this isn't right. That's where you take your power back.
So what does this actually look like in real life? Okay, let's talk about how to set your very first and most crucial boundary. It really starts with these three things. First, just start to notice the pattern when it's happening. No judgment, just, oh, there it is again. Second, consciously stop overcompensating. You can't fix their problems for them. That's their work to do. And third, and this one's tough, turn the focus to your own self-acceptance. Your value is not determined by how much you can put up with.
If you remember one thing, let it be this. It is not your job to fix their internal storm. It's your job to find your own calm center, to find your own shelter,
especially when the chaos is swirling all around you. That's your number one responsibility.
So I'll just leave you with this question. If you decided, right now, to stop waiting for them to give you permission to feel okay, what's the very first, even tiny, boundary you could draw? Not for them, but for you. To give that sense of justice back to yourself. Because that's where the real change begins.